Definitely. We're a year older. I know myself, this will be my second year as a starter. I'm extremely excited. My second year with my young O-line per se. A lot of guys that were freshmen last year, now sophomores, have gotten a lot stronger, a lot bigger. We have a great defense coming back. So we have a lot of maturity and a lot of, just wisdom, out there as veterans now in college football.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of maturity, especially on the defensive line. We have, I think, 4 seniors coming back and starters. Offensive-wise, E.J. Manuel, he's going to lead the offense. And overall, just a great leadership.
Question here up front.
Jeff Gravely, WRL TV. For both of you, we'll start with EJ. It's been a while since the ACC won a national championship in football. Should you guys be in that conversation this year?
Sir, I agree. I think we should. We have some great teams in the ACC, and I think that gets overlooked because we're not in the national championship games. SEC has had, I think, the last 6 years having teams in the national championship, which is awesome. That's a great run. But, it was different back in the day when Florida State, Virginia Tech, those guys were in the conversation. So I think we have the amount of talent to do that, but it's a matter of actually going out there and executing and doing it.
Most definitely, we're stacked at every position. I think that's with great teams, come great depth, and with the great players that we have, we should take it to the next step.
Stay here in the front of the room.
Ewan McCree with Herb FM Radio. EJ, this question is for you. You're 13-4 as a starter. Obviously, a great season. You had some injuries. My first part of my question is, how is your health? You had some shoulder problems and then the fibula. And the second part of my question is, during the offseason, great players are never satisfied. What's the one aspect of your game that you've been focusing on to hopefully, in your view, take the Seminoles to the next level?
Well, first, about my health, I'm 100% healthy. I'm extremely happy because I haven't been visiting the training room as much as I used to, so that's nice. And then secondly, as far as my personal things I've been working on is board work. I had answered this question earlier, and I would just, I bought a dry erase board, and if I'm not at the stadium, if I'm just at home, instead of watching TV, not getting anything football-related done, I'll just write some plays. I'll take a script from the spring or from the year before and just write up plays and write up plays and write up plays. So I think me being a visual learner and being able to write things down and remember them a lot faster and a lot better, I think that's going to go a long way for me this season.
Back of the room.
Brandon, this is for you. Mike Glennon earlier today said that Florida State is going to be the closest to an NFL defense that he'll face all season. First part, do you think Florida State's worthy of that kind of statement? And second part, what do you think could potentially make this defense special this year?
For him to say that, I feel blessed to even be a part of that. I know we have great players on and off the field, on the defensive line. Bjorn Warner, the German, he's a beast. We have Timmy Jenkins, the freshman All-American. But overall, we have great guys on and off the field. I think that helps them be better players on the field.
Guys, we're going to slide all the way over here now.
Scott Kodak, Seminoles.com. EJ, talk about during the bowl game you had 4 freshmen start on the line. How much is that, maybe not even a question mark going into the season, but the guys have kind of been there and done that, they've been through the battles. Right. How much confidence does that give you knowing you still have, these guys are only sophomores and they're going to take that next step forward? Yeah,
definitely. I would just say the physical part, they've gotten bigger. If you go back and watch the film, you can just watch the hips of those guys from last year to this year. It's totally different. Those guys are in the the 300s, but they're still in shape. They're still able to run, still able to be agile and move as linemen. So I'm excited. And we've bonded a lot better than we did the years past, and that was my fault. I should have did a better job as far as hanging out with those guys, because if you're going to go to war together, you need to hang out together. And so we've formed a better bond, and I think that's going to help us out a lot. Especially in the thick of the season when we play those harder opponents.
Brandon, question here at the table. With all the returning starters that you guys have, describe how excited you are to get the season started.
I can't wait to strap on the helmet and play football. That's one thing Jim will stress this year. We just going to go out and play football. Not worry about the outside things and the expectations that you want to live up to. Just going out, when you were a little kid in the backyard playing football and just having fun.
In the days leading up to kickoff, we asked the country to submit questions via social media. We've got a question now here to be introduced.
For both of you guys, how much did missing out on the ACC championship game last year really motivate you in the offseason this year?
I felt inspired when I watched it. I wanted to come out. I felt like it was too much, on the table that we left behind. We didn't play as well as we should have. It wasn't a disappointing season, but you know, it was too much that we had to lose. You know, so this year, you know, hopefully we can come out and take the little things that made us lose last year, and we can pick it up.
Yeah, it was tough. First off, anytime you see two teams in a position where you want it to be at the beginning of the season, you're not there, you know, it's obviously a hard pill to swallow. So we want to change that this year, plain and simple. I mean, it's not really a whole lot to talk about as far as that. You know, it's disappointing to see, but we want to get there this year.
Once again, to the back of the room.
EJ, this one's for you. Rashad Green was a guy who really burst onto the scene and had a great freshman year. A lot of times a guy will come back and have a sophomore slump. What have you seen from him in the offseason that can show you that might not happen with him?
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen, mainly because he's put in the work. You know, Rashad is a diligent worker, and you know, I think he's a smart, very intelligent kid. And for the people that don't know his personality, he's a very smart guy. So, you know, he's been at the 7-on-7s, the workouts where we're just throwing routes, not necessarily going against our defense, but he's always there. And I've been working out with him, as far as our workouts with Coach Vic, the strength coach. So I know he's putting in the time, putting in the work. You know, he's gotten bigger, things like that. So I don't think he'll have a sophomore slump.
Go back to this side of the room.
This question's for Brandon. It seemed like every year is always kind of one, I don't want to say unknown guy that seems to make his name known in the defense, whether it was you a couple of years ago or Bjorn last year. Talk about just some of the young guys that have come in and kind of just the talent that they are, maybe 2 or 3 of the guys that we can kind of expect, you know, may take that next step this year.
To start off with, I want to say a safety, Terrence Brooks. You know, he's a great athlete. You know, fast, strong, physical. You know, he comes downhill with a pop. But he's one of them. Who else? Tank Carradine. You know, he's not a starter, but you know he contributes to the whole defense. Great person on and off the field. But you know, it's too many to name. That's what happens when you have a great team with great backups. You know, everybody can start and have the ability to start.
To the back of the room.
Carl Deffenbaugh, WDBJ. Both players, I guess, Brandon, you can start. This is a long ways off, but Thursday night at Virginia Tech, how much are you guys looking forward to that atmosphere in Blacksburg?
I can't wait. You know, we're holding a grudge from the ACC championship 2 years ago, but I mean, I can't wait to strap on the helmet and play football.
Yeah, I'm first off excited to be in that environment because I'm sure it's going to be cold. You know, and that's what you dream of when you're a kid, you know, playing outside with your friends, honestly. I mean, you're out there in the cold and after school and things like that, it's going to be just like that. It's going to be, you know, a day in the park. Not saying that's going to be easy. Obviously, it's not. That's a great team and great defense. I know we need to be prepared for them, but the fact that it's going to be the environment that we want to be a part of. Thursday night game is prime time, so got to be ready for it.
In the front here.
Jeff Gravely, WRL TV. For EJ, you guys were out there, all the quarterbacks posing. There is an unbelievable amount of talent in this league at that position. Mm-hmm. What separates you guys?
I think the small things, you know, the consistency. I think that's what separates any quarterback. That's what separates Tom Brady from the guys that aren't as great as him, honestly. I mean, the guys that, you know, can persevere through an injury or, you know, not, you know, miss a small check down. Sometimes guys miss those things, and that's what really kind of defines you as a quarterback. If you can, you know, fight through adversity and still lead your team, and I think that's what separates, you know, each quarterback. It doesn't matter what conference or anything, just a quarterback in general.
We'll stay up front.
Ewan McCreath, HerbFM.com. My question is for you, Brandon. I mean, last year, the best defense in the conference, something like 15 points a game. And traditionally, Florida State, you know, over the last decade, your defense has been in the top 5, top 10. What is it about the defense or the system that makes you guys so consistent?
It's about being in the right place at the right time. You know, with Coach Stoops, you know, he emphasizes, like, you know, being in the right spot, playing your responsibility. And when you have everybody playing their responsibility, somebody's going to make the play. So, you know, that's mainly that being in the right spot.
Brandon, question here at the table. What's it like going up against this guy every day in practice?
It's nerve-wracking. You know, I can't even explain how hard it is going against him. You know, he can scramble. He's big, stout. You know, not normal quarterback size, I can tell, but you know, it's very nerve-wracking.
EJ, describe the maturation process for you from a freshman to a senior. Leadership skills, your ability to rally people together. How much have you changed or transformed in the last 3 years?
Well, first, just a comment, give the answer back to him. trust me, this guy, you don't want to play against him. I feel bad for the opposing quarterbacks. I was rooming with Mike Glenn, and I was giving him a hard time about B-Jank and all the guys we got coming back. But as far as my maturation in my offense, I've learned the concepts from Coach Fisher, and that's really the reason I came to Florida State. He was a quarterback coach when I was getting recruited, so I wanted to play for him and learn under him, learn his style of offense. And like I said, with the dry erase board, it sounds simple, but I think it's going to go a long way for me personally as a quarterback.
Last question from the back of the room.
Lane Herbert, Seminoles.com again. That defensive line, that front four, is getting a lot of preseason hype. If it were up to you and you're game planning against you guys, who would you double team on that line?
Am I answering that, or is he answering that?
Oh, both of you.
You go first.
When you have so many great players, my advice, you not double team anybody. Somebody's gonna get free and get open. So, it depends, inside, outside. Nobody really.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. You got to bring in 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks, 2 linebackers, everything. And that's not an overstatement. We're very deep at that defensive line position. So, if Brandon wants to take a breather, 10 Carradine's coming in. If Breon wants to take one, another guy's coming in. It doesn't really matter. I got some great ones.